Universe Everyday Heroes. We have a very interesting video today for those of you who have a phone. So that's all of you. We have some apps that I think you will enjoy. So without further ado, let's run the intro. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rob. This is my show, Alt Universe Everyday Heroes, the series that covers the more informational and educational topics. Today, it's one that everybody will use because, as I said at the beginning, we all have a phone. But we can't do these alone, so let us bring on, I know her as Mom, you might know her as Karen. Here she is. And you might recognize her from other shows too, so there's that too.
Hello, son.
Hello, Mother. So before we start, we are going to be doing a similar show on our other channel. So our one of the new series, because we have two, Minding Your Mental Health, which goes over all sorts of mental health topics, inclusion, all that, is going to do an episode on mindfulness and meditation. And what that connects to this is we're going to have some products. I believe a couple of them are apps as well, among other cool stuff that you're going to be able to check out while we talk. Check it out on the 16th at 12:30. So that is 2 weeks from now. I had to look at my calendar because I don't know time. And in case you're interested, the link is going to be in the chat. Check out the Amazon list that we made, and it has all sorts of goodies. We have yoga mats, we have music, we have art, all that good stuff. So that'll be there. So while you're watching, feel free to browse and peruse. So this we're going to get from a website I like a lot called verywellmind.com. They have a slew of topics and resources on everything from ADD to OCD and everything in between, just a bunch of letters at this point. They have categories of self-improvement, psychology, their own podcast as well, and a lot of numbers to call on as too. So this particular blog that they wrote is some of the best mental health apps that they recommended for 2022. Now, I always am under the impression where if you like an app enough and you downloaded it maybe 3 years ago, it's still a good app. But I do understand a lot of people kind of want the here and now. So I went to look for a resource that was new-ish, And a couple of these we've actually used before personally, so we'll be able to give you some details on as well. So the first one up here, I actually just learned about this today. It's called Mood Fit. It's a free app that tracks your moods and gives you exercises to address negative emotions. What's nice about this website, actually, no, I'm going to put this link up here too, because they actually give you a list of pros and cons. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Come on, computer, you know better than that. Yay, technology. Okay, so there's the list if you want to check it out. So one of the biggest pros, obviously, is it's free. We all like free. They say that it's adaptable based on your goals, ability to track your daily progress, visual insights with actionable exercises, daily reminders to keep you on track, and customizable based on your needs. The cons that they listed are there's no specific professional help, which you'll notice a lot of these don't have, but keep in mind, most of these are for your personal use, so you're not going to have that therapist or doctor connection unless it's specifically that. They say it could lead to self-diagnosis, which we can talk about in a second as to being not so hot sometimes. If you do want some extra features, even though it's free, there's those hidden costs. Tracking moods can be time consuming, and lack of progress can make you feel frustrated if it's not leading to what you want to do. So this is kind of the beginner's app. This is one of those things that I've downloaded stuff like this before because it looks cool. And then you get through it and you realize if you're not on it constantly, right, you're really kind of lacking in it. So really, I would say if you've never used an app of this sort, try it out, see what it is. I'm to the belief that, the self-diagnosis, stuff like that, to each their own. If you're going on one of these apps, my guess, and I could be wrong, 90% of the time you already kind of know what you're trying to get done, and this thing is kind of just going to help you make it better. So it's interesting that they called this their overall choice because of the ones on here, I don't think I would pick this as an overall, but this is the one that these guys picked as their...
Did they say why?
I was looking through. They do kind of, they break down their synopsis of it, but nothing really other than more description does it say why they think it is. So my guess is it's probably a bunch of them sat around the table, said, okay, we have 50 million apps. Pick 10 that you think make the most sense.
It's ease of use. Maybe it's easy to use,
Yeah,
simple, and doesn't get too complicated. Who knows?
right.
I've
And
never
this
heard that.
can be found on Google Play and the App Store. And the reason, actually, and it's funny because you said, are these only iPhone? So I changed the title to phone because I believe some of these can be downloaded to, your Samsung, your Pixel, because there's not just one place to download them. So if you do have a Google phone, you can probably pick it up at the Google Play
Or an
Store.
Android. I use an Android, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
either
There, yeah.
going to be for an iPhone or an Android. Android's the operating system, so regardless of what other things you have. But I've never heard of that app before, so that's something I'm going to look up.
Yeah, I might try to check it out and see, but I feel like from their description, I'm probably going to get very bored because it's probably something that's going to be like you have to literally be touching it every minute of the day to, you know. Now, this next one here I use, so I know this one very, very well. It's the BetterHelp app, and this one is actually therapy, and they're calling this Best for Therapy. So this one you do pay for. It varies from 250 to 600 depending on what you use. But what my plan, what it allows me to do is I can get once a week my regular session. So I pay for 4 or 5, depending on how many weeks are in the month, of those sessions. For me, the main thing is what I like about it is the fact you do it from home or from anywhere. So that's the first pro that they have. Communicate via audio, video, or text. I can text my therapist whenever I want, even if I'm not having a session. You send unlimited messages. You can pick it up on all the app stores, Apple and Google. And most of the people liking it are giving it a high user satisfaction. The cons are session lengths vary, and I believe that's probably what you pay for. If you pay for the lower end, you're probably going to get a shorter. Mine, I believe, is 45 to an hour, which is what I get for my money. Not too bad. Only one subscription plan available, which to me is not really a con because I feel like if you're going in for therapy, you already know the plan you want. So if this is not going to work, you would find an app that does. They don't have any medication management, which again, for those who use it, might be problematic. And there's no free trials. You kind of just jump in and do it. However, I believe the first time I used it, she, I think, gave me the option to either cancel with her or pick a new one. So theoretically, you do have kind of a try before you buy, and they will cancel the payment if you do a session and realize, it's not for me.
My understanding also, and again, I know that you use the app, and I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, is that if you don't like your therapist, you can change.
Yeah, so if you decide to stick with your plan and keep paying, let's say you do 5 sessions and you're like, okay, this isn't working, you can go in there. They say anonymously, but obviously it's not because your therapist knows you. But they basically make it easier for you to, okay, you don't like this person, cool, we'll put you with somebody else. There's
Right.
not that weird feeling of like, why aren't you coming back to me?
I think that's important, Rob. I think that's really important because you don't get that sense of, oh, I'm stuck now. It doesn't work, and then you go away. Basically, they're saying it's different. Different people like different things, and so you have to find that right person. And once you find the right person, as you did, obviously, you know that it's going to be beneficial. So I think it's like a great app. So if you haven't checked this out, you really should.
Yeah, and I mean, even for I know 240, 250 is a lot, but even for the lower end, compared to what you probably would, I don't know, it's probably changed since the 90s. But I'm pretty sure doing a regular session is going to be much more than what this
Right.
is,
Yeah.
and that's even just per. Like some places you have to pay per your thing. This one at least is giving you your monthly for
Right.
one fee, which is also nice because you don't have to remember like, oh, did I pay? Did I,
Right. Right. And in some places, first of all, and if I recall, Rob, your regular insurance, you had a lot of trouble just finding a therapist on your regular plan. You couldn't find,
Yes.
they didn't return call. I mean, and we know that there is a shortage of therapists right now. People are not going into the field. So if you're thinking if you want to go in the field, it's really a great field to go into right now.
Yeah.
But that, I think that was why you actually reached out and researched and found this company, which in fact you got started almost immediately, and you've stayed with them. So this is a really cool, kind of tool to have. As you know, Rob, your dad also does telepsychiatry as well, because this is called telepsychiatry
Right.
or teletherapy, meaning you're doing it either on a Zoom or a phone. You're not going in person, and this is the wave of the future. I think specifically, I think because of what happened with the pandemic, and it's still going on, and people just not comfortable going out. So we're going to see more and more and more of this. So check it
Right.
out. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely, yeah. I mean, if you guys haven't tried it, try it out. And, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but definitely give it a shot and see if it works. And yeah, like you said, it's nicer to be like, oh, time for my session, walk upstairs, go into my thing, and I'm there. Like I literally walk from one room to the other and I'm at my
And you're
appointment. All right, so the next one on the list, and they call this the best for learning coping skills. It's called Mood Mission. They chose it because it's research backed and gives you missions to improve your mood and mental health skills. This does cost for iOS. It's $4.99. For Android, $5.99. Lucky you, you get to pay $1 more than me. The pros are developed by professionals, so this is backed by mental health research, supported by randomized controlled trials. There are in app rewards to increase motivation, mood boosting activities, as well as evidence based CBT, which we've talked about with the cards before. The cons are the initial questionnaire can be overwhelming. And when I read that, that's the one thing I hate when you get an app for anything, whether it's this or something else, and they're asking you to figure out what you want. It's like an hour-long thing of questions of like, I didn't download this for this stuff. Why are you asking? So
right.
it is annoying. I get it. Options are limited to their pre-selected missions. So even though there's things to do, they're kind of already set. There is no actual professional help, even though it's backed by professional help. Requires regular use, kind of like the first one, to actually increase personalization. And some of the activities may be time consuming or difficult depending on who you are. So, just to kind of give you an idea of what a mission is, there's emotion based, such as breathing exercises, behavior based, such as knitting or sewing, so an actual physical activity, physical activities like push ups or other exercises, and thought based, such as reframing negative thoughts.
Okay.
So, it's a little bit better than the first one. However, and it might just be me, possibly you, the motivations or the rewards are kind of, I like giving to myself. So, for instance, when I do my exercise, it's knowing that I did it and then, go grab a snack afterwards because I just worked out. That's more rewarding than whatever they might have on here. And again, I couldn't find specific rewards,
Right.
but they're probably not going to be very motivational personally
Right.
unless you're into that. And I've done apps before where it's like, oh, you got 5 coins. Now you can buy a sticker or change your avatar.
Does
Which
that
is,
work for you? Does that work for you? Do you like that?
I mean, I play so many regular games with characters and stuff like that. It loses its meaning and purpose because there's no point to having them other than if you're that person who likes to collect, the digital,
Right.
and they're digital stickers. They're not even real stickers.
Right.
So it's fun and it's silly, but I don't know if the activities would spur me to download to learn coping skills.
Right. I think what you're saying is that everybody has their own thing that propels them forward, and so that particular app may have things that would be interesting for someone that needs that motivation, like the
Right.
5 coins and things. Like me, not so much. I do not need to be rewarded for that. In fact, when I start new programs or journals or things, and that's one of the things in there, like I'm out because I don't need that. I need to be internally motivated. So if they can figure out a way to internally motivate me and give me that, then I don't need coins. I just need
One
to.
example is because we do the challenge calendars at home, and each month. So what our motivation is at the end of the month, we get ourselves a little treat at the end of the month.
Right.
We're doing 30 days of whatever. So maybe it's a candy, maybe it's a little toy. That to me is more of a thing, but it's not so much getting the treat. It's the I
Accomplish.
just did 30 days of whatever,
Right.
and now I get a prize. But I'm just like,
Feel good
cool.
about it. Yeah. Cool.
Exactly. So this next one here, you'll probably appreciate me. You're like stress relief. This one is called Sanveo. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Okay.
They chose it for their cognitive behavioral therapy tools to help treat mild to moderate anxiety and depression. The basic version is free. However, if you want the good stuff, it's $8 in the store. The pros they have are effectiveness backed by research. Costs actually may be covered by insurance, which is interesting. Not many apps will do that for you, so that's kind of cool. Provides different options based on what you're looking for.
Hmm.
Allows you to connect with others who are going through similar things, kind of like, I guess, a chat room type of deal. And the ability to access a therapist if you need, which I guess makes sense why it's covered by insurance because there's probably that connection. The cons that they have may not be appropriate for very severe conditions. So if it's something more than just kind of general anxiety, may not be the best. Does require a monthly subscription for the advanced features. There are add-ons that you pay for, and those would be pricey if not covered by insurance. So it's kind of like a pro and a con together. Lack of clarity on the credentials of the coaches, as they put in parentheses,
Mm.
and therapy option itself is not a thing. So while there are people you can talk to, and while it is covered by insurance, apparently those people aren't real and they're just kind of there because they're there.
And
Uh,
but this is on their list. This is one of the choices they're saying, even
this is
though they're
one of their favorites, and the mission is labeled as helping people build the life skills they need anytime, anywhere, in any way they choose. Kind
okay.
of sounds like a fast food restaurant, get your food anytime,
Yes,
anywhere.
different strokes for different folks. Every something for everyone. The Chinese menu, right? I'll take one from column A.
Exactly. So it is cool to see one that actually is possibly covered. And again, we say possibly because they don't know what your insurance is. So they're going to say, check your insurance before. But it seems kind of silly to have access to a therapist, but not actually have the therapy associated and also not really knowing their credentials either. BetterHelp, the person I have, when you look at their profile, it tells you their MBAs, it tells you their PhDs, it gives you the list of everything. So I kind of know what they studied. I guess though, if you kind of want the therapy without the therapy, this is the in
Sounds
between.
like a DIY, do it yourself.
And for
I
me, and actually, there's a topic that I wrote down earlier about the chat room thing, and if a chat room for this kind of stuff works. I don't know if that's really the best idea generally. Just personal opinion here. I don't mind sharing thoughts, and if somebody has a thing, I don't mind filling, giving my 2 cents. But I don't know if sitting down with a random person that I don't know and saying, "Oh, these are my deepest, darkest feelings," that's not really comfortable for most people, I would think.
Me neither. I'm with you on that. I mean, because then that it sounds like people become armchair therapists that don't have the actual degree, science, ability, knowledge, and all of a sudden they're giving you some helpful suggestions that may not be so helpful. And that's a curious thing to me.
So, I mean, hey, these guys, the website is pretty good. They're not always going to be on my side. So, hey, there's going to be one app that I'm going to be like, nope, and that'll be the one, I guess. But seriously, I mean, if you guys do want to check it out, see if you like. Now, the next one, I will give you the full reign because I know you use this one a lot. I use it on YouTube. They're calling it the best for meditation, and it is your favorite Calm app. So
Yes.
let me give you the pros and cons of what they say, then I'll pass it over. So they offer a 7-day free trial, and then a membership is around $70. Or if you want meditation for life, you can pay $400 for indefinite access. That sounds like a lot of money. Pros: app offers individual exercises, less structured, calming sounds in the background, simple to follow. The only cons they say are subscription needed to use, and the app isn't the most intuitive in their opinion. So
That's so interesting.
I will give you that right there.
So, first of all, the Calm app is something that Kaiser gives to their um, their patients, the consumers. They
Right.
give it to them for free. That's number one. And it's actually why I started using it because I used to use Insight Timer. I used to use a different app, which is also similar. What I like about Calm, Tamara Levitt, she is their resident uh, Calm person. She's the one who creates the daily calm meditations, and she's the one who does a lot of the courses. Um, I used to pay for this, and I thought very valuable. I would have continue pay for it, and then I found out that it was free, which is kind of cool for that. But I use it every single day, and I use it because you can literally search for what you're looking for. So in the morning, I just want something to get me going in the morning. I don't really want to sit for too long for my daily meditation. It's 10 minutes. You're in and out. For many people, you might think that's too long, maybe because you've never meditated. But after a certain time, 10 minutes actually is not too long. I used to meditate for hours at a time, literally, and I would just go into the zone. Now, the idea of sitting for an hour, just like, ugh, I can't even imagine. But Calm is a great app. You're going to be able to do music. As they said, you can do music, you can do guided meditations, you can do visual meditation. So you can look at the pretty just the stream and the trees flowing as you're doing. But then they also tell you you're supposed to close your eyes. So I'm not really sure how you're supposed to look with your eyes closed. There is that. But again, it's getting into a routine. You can track it. You can track your moods on this. So some of the other apps you were sharing, about tracking your moods, this is just part of it. So when you listen to a meditation, afterwards it'll say, how are you feeling? Before you do the meditation, it will say, how are you feeling? So that you can track it. And of course, the rewards on this is that you're checking it off every day. You're not getting anything, but when I log in every day, I'll see, oh, I've done 6 days in a row, or I've done, and that to me is motivational, not the treat. It's knowing that I've maintained something and I've continued to do it, and it makes me feel good about me. So it's a great, great app. I don't know if you have Insight Timer on that list. But that is another one that I would highly suggest, Insight Timer. And there is a lot of free stuff on there. You can do. They have free stuff that they do on there.
Well, I saw the Calm app and I was like, you talk about it all the time. So
I know, I love it.
I will give you the stage for that. Yeah, and then funny enough, on YouTube, because they have a channel as well, and that's where I get mine. You can watch the same one over and over again, but I believe they upload
Right.
semi regularly new ones, probably from
guy and a gal. So the gal,
right.
Tamara Levitt, she's the voice. You hear her voice. They bring in celebrities to do stories. They do like sleep stories, which that doesn't do anything for me. But I know a lot of people like to go to bed with a sleep story, I guess. And then they have a guy. I can't remember his name, but he's got a very soothing voice too. And so he's the male voice, and he does a whole series of stuff because I think that's something to talk about. We all, if you're doing meditation apps, you want to make sure the person talking to you can relate to.
It's soothing, it doesn't want you want to go.
You're going, what did he say? Or the accent's thicker or whatever. You're not. And if you have to try too hard, you might as well not do it. So I like the idea that there's a man and a woman, and sometimes I like the male voice, and sometimes I want a female voice. So you have a choice, and they all work really well. One of my favorites.
Well, there you go. All right. If you haven't told already, there you go. If you guys are just popping in, we are listing down some of verywellmind.com's favorite apps to use. We're also going to show you at the end our new series coming up, so stay tuned to the end for that. One more there. All right, the next one on here is the best fun app called Happify, which I vaguely have heard of before, haven't used it yet. But it's science-backed games that help you reduce stress, build resilience, and overcome negative thoughts. Now, there's kind of lots of pros and lots of cons, which never really bodes well for anybody. But, their pros are great activity integration, focusing on a variety of goals, different tracks that focus on specific areas, developed by experts, including therapists and coaches, or as I say, therapists and coaches, helps you better understand your moods, encourages you to feel more present and live in the moment. The cons, it is premium, so you do have to pay $15 a month. There is a free version, but it offers limitations, so why bother? More expensive than some of the other ones at 15, and the challenges and deadlines can be stress-inducing. So the stress lessening can be stress-inducing. That makes sense. These ones are a little weird because I've played a few and I've done, and some of them are silly, some of them are cool, but you end up doing, and of course, I wasn't buying them, so I was doing the same activities over and over, but it was very lacking of creativity. And it goes back to what we said before. Like, if I'm going to make an activity, I'm going to make an activity that I want to do that's going to get me more fulfillment, and I'll be happy about the end, and that's all that matters. If you're going to say, oh, let's go hike today, I'm like, I can't. It's 120 degrees. That's not a good idea, but there's no other choices to do. What are you going to do? So this one I can see for those who maybe do need more of the help to get the ideas flowing, this would be a good choice to do. Now, it is $15, which for anybody, is a little bit high. But I think if you're in the mindset to play games like this, you're probably going to appreciate it more.
Right.
The next one here we're going to do quickly. It's more of a self-help guide than an app, but you download it. It's Depression CBT Self-Help Guide. And it's really an ebook more or less on the app with CBT-based exercises, tools, and other things to manage your depression. Teaches simple activities is one of their pros, promotes calm with activities and audio elements, kind of like your Calm app. It offers feedback on symptom severity, which is interesting. Contains a lot of mental health information because, again, it's more of a reading than a doing. And there's free access to all content. The con, which actually works for you, but not for me, it's only on Android devices, so you can give it a try.
Okay.
It lacks information about components of CBT, which again goes against the title of the app. Some users may struggle to identify what they're actually trying to identify with, may lead to self-diagnosis again, and no access to actual professional help. It's free for a reason, I think, because this is what you can get off of Google or anything else if you want to just read. So the fact that you're going to download an app when you can do this without downloading an app seems a little silly to me, but it's interesting that's only on Android when it's usually always only on iOS, and it's usually not on Android.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I would like to ask these people why, we'll see. All right, so best for BIPOC, which is, what does that stand for?
BIPOC.
Okay, Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. So this is an app for people of color. It's called Shine. It empowers people of color by offering community support and tools that specifically address them and their difficulties. It is $65 a year, so it is on the higher end. You have access to peer support. You have multiple tools and activities to use. Topics are specifically focused on them. Calming tools for crisis moments, and activities based on empirical research. The cons are not designed for very serious conditions, no professional support, requires a purchase, and as they said before, some of the activities can be more stress-inducing than helpful. I would say of any reason behind it, having an app that does it for that is probably interesting enough for. I don't know if that would be offensive to somebody and being like, why are you giving me one just for that? But I would think maybe that would be more supportive to only talk about
issues and challenges that might be for the people of color communities. Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. I'm trying to go through. I think, I'm going to skip down to the bottom now because this one I really want to go over. The Todoist, and this one I thought about you because it's for ADHD, so maybe for me too.
I have
it. So you know about. So it's a organizing tool that helps people with ADHD stay focused. The basic version is free. Pro is $3 a month. Business is $5. The pros are organizing tasks any way you like, reminders, sharing tasks, and setting up recurring. Cons: optimal space and features cost money. Shared projects sometimes don't sync. So I think we'll end up with that one. I'm definitely losing my voice right now, but we'll end with that one. But I thought of it. So you've used that one then?
I have used it. I don't use it anymore. I use a different app that's a task. It's called the Task Board, and it's the same thing. It's for keeping your lists together and sub lists, and you can categorize them and all. And I do that, and it has a standalone app that you can put on your computer in addition to it being on your phone, so that you can again sync it. You sit in front of your computer all day, so do I, and I like not having to always have to go to my phone to get certain things. So it's an interesting platform. It's supposedly the number one list program, to-do list program in Task Manager.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yep.
So there are a few more that you can go over. Again, the website is here at the bottom. It'll be in chat, so you can go ahead and click that. It'll send you right to the websites too, so you don't have to Google anything. It'll just go right to the homepage. And as we did at the beginning, let's just give you a reminder, we are going to have a show from our new series, Minding Your Mental Health. This particular episode is going to be covering mindfulness and meditation. It'll be premiering on the 16th, live at 12:30.
Pacific time. Pacific time.
Oh, Pacific time. Excuse me, Pacific time. And if you guys want to check out some of the cool goodies that we like, the Amazon list will be in chat forever as well. Oops. And there you go. So this was pretty informational. I was shocked at some of them, even though I'd already read the list. I know you were shocked at a couple of them too. I would agree. Calm is a good one. BetterHelp, obviously, I'm biased. I use it. I like it. That's why I like it. But there are some interesting ones on there that I think I might have to go at least download really quick and see. Maybe not buy the full thing, but
Rob, I think the message is here is there's a lot of things out there that can help us. Try them. Pick the one that works best for you. Leave the rest. There's something out there that will help you. You just have to take a little time and try it out. This is a great list. I'm really happy to see this list. I haven't heard of several of those things, so I too am going to go check them out.
There you go. And hopefully you guys watching who are watching live will check it out. If you weren't able to pick up live, check us out on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. While you're there, hit that subscribe, hit that bell, and poof, we will be on your phone, computer, laptop, whatever it is where you show up on nowadays. As I mentioned before, we got more shows together, Money and Mental Health, more episodes of Ultra Universe Live as well, which for those of you who watched already, they're just as fun, but just more goodies and so much more. So until next time, guys, we have a brand new week starting tomorrow. You can check out Karen on everywhere podcasts are sold. Now I got to go take a nap because that was a lot of information for me. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining.